Hello, good morning, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a Q&A. I feel like I have not done a Q&A in so long. Chris and I have been meaning to record one for maybe like 2 months. We'll eventually get around to that. I've also been saying that for quite a while, but we are gonna do just a Q&A with myself. Have all the questions pulled up. I just posted a little box on Instagram. I have my cart running because my butt warmer's on and it feels great. So hopefully it's not too loud. But I just got done dropping off packages and figured it would be easier to record this in my car, uninterrupted, because poor little Emmy girl's having a day. I don't know if it's teething, something. She just seems uncomfortable today, so she's been a little louder. So anyway, let's get into this. I haven't looked at these yet, so not to be that person, but any plans for baby number 2? You do not offend me by asking this because I feel like I've been very open with we want multiple kids, we want them close. So plans for baby number 2. We know we want multiple, we know we want them close. How close? I don't know. I'm still breastfeeding and my hope was to have a little bit of time where my body is just my body, but at this point, I don't know when I'm gonna stop breastfeeding just because I'm just so stuck in our little routine, and I don't know if that's gonna be the plan anymore. I don't know. If I don't have like a timeline, we talk about it all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if I got pregnant again this year, but also at the same time, if I'm not pregnant this year, that's not something I'm gonna be like bummed about. We're just gonna kind of, you know, take it day by day and see how we're feeling, but we do know we want multiple. What birth control do you use / Oura ring thoughts? It's been the trend lately. I do agree. I feel like everyone has hopped on the I'm using Oura ring as my birth control trend, which is amazing. It's really cool that you can use it for that. I just got an Oura ring for Christmas. I haven't started using it like that recently. I haven't gotten my period back. I was thinking about going on birth control and then just for whatever reason decided not to. So we're just using the good old-fashioned birth control methods. I should start using my Oura ring, but I haven't looked into it enough. I'm like, I don't have my period, which is that gonna affect how the Oura ring would detect? I don't know. Yeah, I still haven't got my period back. I thought I did, and I didn't. So 7 months postpartum, still don't have that back. That doesn't mean you can't get pregnant. It's just you don't have your period back. Advice for planning a wedding in Columbus in only 8 months. Sounds familiar. Chris and I basically did that. Budget needs to come first, and then your priority list, and then just kind of go from there. I feel like once you get the big things out of the way, they kind of, like the rest of it kind of falls into place. Once you figure out where you're getting married, they usually provide like, you have to go through their food, like all their catering options, and that kind of, it just helps everything else fall into place. So I feel like it's very overwhelming. The place that we scheduled with, was that my car? That's weird. Where we got married, they provided a wedding planner, and so she literally would just send me a sheet of like, these are the things you need to get done by our next appointment. These are the things, like they helped organize it, so that was really nice. But yeah, find your budget and then pick your like top 3 most important things, allocate most of your money towards that, and then just follow through down the list. That's what we did. There's lots of Oura ring questions in here. How do you like your Oura ring thoughts? Is it worth it? I like it a lot so far. I think I mentioned this in a video. I feel like I'm right in between sizes, so I have to take most mornings when I take it off. I don't work out in it because the dumbbells can scratch it, but I love that it tracks my sleep. I am interested to start using it for my cycle. So far I like it. I would say it's worth it, but obviously not a necessity. Did you struggle with breastfeeding when Emmy was a newborn? I've had a lot of struggle so far. Yes. Breastfeeding was probably the hardest part about our newborn experience. That's including her acid reflux, her fussiness. Breastfeeding not going smoothly in the beginning was so incredibly hard and sent me into a pretty bad postpartum depression because you breastfeed them so often. Every 2.5 to 3 hours, it was just a fighting match between us, basically. She was fighting me so hard, and at the same time I knew she was hungry, and then this was still when Chris was at his old job, so even if he was working from home, he was in meetings like all day. So if she wouldn't breastfeed, then I was stressed about pumping, but because she was not colicky necessarily, I mean maybe, the reflux and just like how fussy she was crying if I wasn't holding her. So then I was like stressing about I'm not going to have time to pump because Chris is in a meeting and I need to be quiet. She can't be crying. It was just a whole thing and I was depressed. With that being said, breastfeeding is something that I feel like 99% of the time does get better if you stick with it. You have to weigh the options for yourself and for your baby, whatever works best for you. No shame if you decide to stop because it is too much. I got close to that point multiple times. The best advice, so my goal was to breastfeed for 6 months. That was something, for whatever reason, that just meant a lot to me and I really wanted to see that through. So that was like an internal struggle I had. The best piece of advice I got from multiple people on Instagram and on here was to not make the decision to stop during like a bad period, because then you might get done with it and be like, oh, if I would have just stuck it out for another couple days. Like if you're going to choose to stop, and I feel like this kind of applies to everything, don't do it on a bad night or, you know, a bad time frame. Choose to stop because you truly don't want to do it, not just because, oh my God, this sucks so much in the moment. I feel like that helped me push through, and we literally took it just one breastfeeding session at a time because it was so rough. It does get better, I promise. Supplements I took during breastfeeding: postnatal, probiotic, and collagen. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? The main thing was just my postnatal. Gosh, my butt warmer is on too much now. You're a great mom. Love watching you and Emmy Girl. Thank you so much. That is so sweet. I appreciate you guys so much. Ever since announcing that we were pregnant and welcoming little Emmy into the world, I feel like I've always thought I've had a pretty positive community on here and on Instagram, but I feel like since becoming a mom has just become even more true. Everyone has been so supportive, and like I do share a lot. I feel like I share more than most people do. And it's not because I don't like having some things private, like I definitely do, but I know how much it helps me being able to relate to someone else and be like, especially with what we've been going through, and like same thing with the breastfeeding, it was such a low time for me. And like some days the only thing that would really get me in a better mood and in a better place was talking to someone else who was going through a similar thing, and I could relate to them and be like, okay, so I'm not alone with this. My feelings are valid. I'm not crazy. So I try to share so I can hopefully be that for some of you. And it's like therapeutic to talk about it. So a lot of the times it helps me a lot. Any Hawaii tips? Ooh, honestly, my biggest tip for going to Hawaii, I mean, this is like a very vague question. I don't know if you mean for like saving money, for where to go, like where to stay, food. But my main tip with Hawaii, it is expensive regardless. If you're gonna take the time and put money towards traveling to Hawaii, go all out. Don't try to do it the least expensive way, because I feel like if you're going to take the time to travel all that way, it's not a quick flight and it is expensive. I feel like you would be a little disappointed if you tried to cut corners rather than just like get the full experience. That is just me personally. Tips on starting a YouTube channel. You just got to do it. I know it's hard. It took me so long to finally build up the courage to not only record myself, but record myself in public and then learn how to edit. Like it all just seemed very overwhelming. But nowadays I also feel like it is so socially acceptable. Like there are so many people who are YouTubers now, and like kids growing up want to be YouTubers, which is just wild to me. But yeah, just start. There's never a perfect time. You don't need a fancy camera. You can just use your iPhone and turn it horizontal. I used iMovie, the free editing software, for probably 3 years. My car is making a weird noise. Use what you have and get started, because it's not like a quick thing. It's a marathon. You got to stay very consistent with it, but it's worth it. I absolutely love YouTube, and I'm so glad I worked up the courage to pick up a camera and record myself, because look at what it's turned into. You'll slowly start to find a little group of people that relate to you, and it's just great. I love YouTube. It's my favorite platform. Just thank you from the depth of another sleep-deprived, figuring it out mom's heart. I love you guys. For those of you who are out there struggling with a little one who doesn't sleep great right now, one of the coaches at Lifetime, I was talking to her just about how like Emmy's sleep was awful. It has gotten better, but like last week it was not good at all, and I was so sleep deprived and just like over it. I'm like, oh my gosh, we just need like even one good night thrown in the mix would just bring me back to life a little bit. She was like, just remember, if things are hard now, it's not going to stay like that. And then on the other end of that, if things are really good right now, don't get too used to it. And that's so true. Like, babies are constantly changing. We're all learning and growing. We all have ups and downs. We all have good days, bad days. So if it's really hard right now, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It will subside. And then if it's really good right now, enjoy it, but don't set that expectation of like every day is going to be like this, because it's not. That's not reality. You don't have perfect days all the time. Neither do I. Neither's your baby. So I thought that was really good advice. Not a question, but you have to try, in all caps, HUNZA G bikinis. They're unreal. Can you hear the ice hitting the car? It turned from snow to little ice pellets. Okay, I will look into HUNZA, HUNZA G bikinis. Apparently they're unreal, so maybe you'll see a HUNZA G bikini haul coming soon. Ooh, okay, I feel like this is a good one to end on. What is something past you did that present you is most grateful for? Best life advice. Okay, something past you did that is present you. What is something past you did that present you is most grateful for? I feel like there's a lot of things. This might sound kind of cliche, but I feel like it like goes into kind of all of the things that led me to where I am today. The thing that present me is very, 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 very grateful for from my past self is letting go of what other people think and letting go of the thought of like someone else judging me or making fun of me for starting a YouTube channel or whatever. Very proud of myself and thankful that past Kel stopped caring what other people thought about her, because if I would have let that dictate the decisions I made, I would not be where I am today. I wouldn't have started a YouTube channel. I wouldn't be getting to work with the companies I work with. I definitely wouldn't be married to Chris, aka I wouldn't have a beautiful baby girl. So I'm thankful I didn't give a rat's ass of what other people thought about me. Chris just sent me a picture. What is it? Oh god. Layla's hiding in the closet currently. Okay. Oh, and then best life advice. See, this is another thing. There's like, I'm not good at remembering the quotes that I love until I hear it and I'm like, yes, yes. Same thing with like pet peeves. I know those are very different. But kind of, I guess the advice that's coming to mind, I'm sure I'm going to remember something in like 10 minutes and be like, that's what I should have said. But don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. I feel like that's a very good quote to just have in your back pocket. That's going to be it for the Q&A. Hopefully you enjoyed it. That was fun. I need to start doing these like monthly again. All right, time to head home. Actually, I need to go get Lulu dog food. Then head home, go see the gal, go start editing. So hopefully you guys have a YouTube video to watch tomorrow, which is in the past for you guys.